soft light of the elegantly decorated restaurant reflected in Jade's bright eyes, filled with expectation and love. The aroma of exquisite dishes lingered in the air as she and Connor exchanged knowing smiles. It was a special night. They were celebrating a year together, and everything seemed perfect. Jade wore a red dress that accentuated her curves, and Raphael, in his dark suit, exuded charm. "A toast to our love, to our story," he said, raising his glass of wine. "A toast to our future," Jade replied, feeling her heart race. Their eyes met, and she got lost in the depth that had always fascinated her. "I promise I will always be by your side, Rafa," she said, her voice choked with emotion. "And I promise to make you happy," he replied, holding her hand across the table as if wanting that moment to last forever. The conversation flowed between laughter and declarations of love, recalling the most memorable moments of their relationship. "Remember that trip to the beach?" Jade asked with a radiant smile. "How could I forget? That moonlit walk was magical." Connor replied, his eyes shining with the memory. The connection between them was palpable, a mix of affection and passion that seemed unbreakable. But as the night progressed, the light atmosphere began to be permeated by a slight touch of anxiety that Jade couldn't identify. After a few hours, dinner came to an end, and Jade decided it was time to head home. Connor paid the bill, and the two left the restaurant, walking side by side under the starry sky. She couldn't help but feel that there was something different in the way Connor looked at her, but she attributed it to the intensity of the night. When they got home, Jade felt a chill in her stomach, thinking about all the plans they had made together. As soon as she entered the house, the first thing she did was pick up her cell phone. She was so absorbed in thoughts about Connor that she didn't notice the time passing. When she finally looked at the screen, a notification appeared. It was a message from Raphael. "I need to talk to you. I don't know how to say this, but it's better for both of us." Jade's heart raced, and the joy of that night turned into deep despair. "No, no, no," she murmured, feeling the tears start to slip down her face. "What's happening?" Connor's words echoed in her mind like a nightmare she couldn't shake off. She couldn't believe he could want to end everything just like that, out of the blue. Jade took a deep breath, trying to calm down, but anxiety consumed her. She picked up the phone again and tried to call Raphael, but the call went to voicemail. "Answer, please," she begged out loud, but the only response was silence. Desperate, Jade began to recall the happy moments they had spent together. Raphael's contagious laughter, the passionate kisses under the moonlight, the whispered promises in her ear. Each memory made the pain in her heart more intense. "How could he do this to me?" she thought, as the tears continued to slip, a whirlwind of emotions consuming her. The darkness around her seemed to intensify, and the loneliness enveloped her like a heavy cloak. Finally, Jade let herself fall onto the sofa, her chest tight and her mind shattered. Looking at the dark ceiling, she felt completely lost. "What am I going to do now?" she whispered, feeling alone and anguished. The tears fell freely as she tried to process the pain that engulfed her, a sense of betrayal she never imagined experiencing. The world that once seemed so full of possibilities now seemed like a labyrinth with no way out, and the only certainty she had was the open wound in her heart. Jade was sitting at a cafe table, the aroma of ground coffee beans and warm bread filling the air, but none of it seemed to cheer her up. Clara, her best friend, was trying to cheer her up with light conversation about the new collection of clothes that had arrived at the store they both liked. However, Jade just nodded, absorbed in her own thoughts. Clara noticed the distance in her eyes and, after an awkward silence, decided to change her approach. "Jade, you need to get out of this dark place," Clara said, holding her friend's hand. "Let's go to a party tonight. It'll be fun. I promise you'll get distracted." "A party? That's the last thing I want to do right now," Jade replied, her voice heavy with discouragement. "I know you're sad, but staying here isn't going to make things better. You need fresh air, and who knows, maybe even meet new people. Owen will be there. Remember him from college? He was always so much fun," Clara argued, trying to find a point of interest for Jade. The mention of Owen made a slight sparkle appear in Jade's eyes. She remembered how he used to make everyone laugh with his jokes and funny stories. However, the idea of going out still seemed distant. What if I can't have fun? What if I meet someone who reminds me of Raphael? If that happens, you simply walk away. You're stronger than you think, Jade. And remember, you're surrounded by friends. I'll be with you the whole time, Clara said with an encouraging smile. After a moment of hesitation, Jade agreed. Okay, I'll try, but I can't promise I'll have fun. Clara smiled, satisfied with the response. At night, the party was lively. Colored lights flashed to the rhythm of the loud music that reverberated through the walls. Jade felt a bit out of place at first, watching people dance and have fun. Clara, however, didn't leave her alone. Soon, she dragged her to the dance floor, where the vibrant energy seemed to infect everyone around. Come on, let's dance! A little movement might do you good, Clara shouted, pulling Jade by the hand. Reluctantly, Jade let herself be led, trying to lose herself in the rhythm of the music. As she tried to relax, her gaze was drawn to the phone in her bag. A part of her was still waiting for a message from Raphael, even though she knew it was an illusion. Anxiety consumed her, and she couldn't shake the thought that he might show up at any moment. That's when Owen approached. Hey, Jade, long time no see. Are you okay? He said with an open smile and contagious energy. Jade forced a smile. Hi, Owen. I'm trying to have fun, she replied, without much conviction. How about we dance? I promise I'll make you laugh, he suggested, extending his hand. Jade hesitated, but the offer was tempting. She took his hand and let herself be led to the dance floor. As they danced, Owen began telling funny stories about college, making Jade genuinely laugh for the first time in weeks. The connection between them seemed natural, and Jade began to relax. You know, Jade, life is full of ups and downs. The important thing is how you deal with it. And you're an amazing woman, Owen said, looking deeply into her eyes. Jade felt a wave of gratitude for his presence. Thank you, Owen. That means a lot to me, she replied, her voice a little stronger. However, even as she danced and laughed, her mind couldn't completely escape Raphael. The phone in her pocket vibrated, and with her heart racing, she pulled it out, hoping it was a message of hope. But when she looked, the smile on her face quickly disappeared. It was Raphael. Sorry, I can't continue with this anymore. The words echoed in her head, and she felt the weight of disappointment again. The music around her seemed to fade as she processed the message. Owen watched her with concern, noticing the instant change in her expression. Jade, what happened? He asked, leaning closer. She looked at Owen, feeling a lump in her throat. It's him. It's Raphael. He doesn't want to continue, not even as friends, she said, her voice breaking. Owen paused and his gaze softened. I'm sorry, you don't deserve this. You're an incredible person, and he's losing something special, he said, trying to comfort her. Jade smiled sadly, but Owen's words touched her heart. In that moment, she realized that although the pain was still present, there were people around her willing to help her get back on her feet. She took a deep breath, trying to push away the sadness as life continued around her. Jade was sitting in a cozy cafe, the soft lights and the aroma of fresh coffee filling the air. Clara, her best friend, was in front of her, with a concerned expression on her face. The young woman was still shaken by Connor's devastating message and needed to vent. You won't believe what I found out, Clara, Jade began, her voice trembling. The last message he sent, he was meeting someone else. I can't believe he cheated on me. The tears began to slip down her face, and she quickly wiped them away with the back of her hand. Clara, with a sympathetic look, took Jade's hand. You need to stay away from him, Bee. He doesn't deserve you. You're amazing, and he didn't see that. Don't let his betrayal define who you are. Jade sighed, feeling the weight of Clara's words. It's so hard, Clara. I thought he was the love of my life. How could I have been so naive? Don't blame yourself. He's the one who should feel ashamed, Clara replied, squeezing her friend's hand. Instead of clinging to this past, how about focusing on yourself? Let's find something that makes you feel alive again. Clara's suggestion made Jade think, maybe I need a new routine, something that helps me forget, even if just for a moment. Clara smiled, noticing that her friend was beginning to see a way out. Let's start with exercise. It's a great way to release tension, and maybe do something creative, painting, perhaps. The idea ignited a small spark of hope in Jade's heart. She had always had a hidden love for art, but had never had the courage to pursue it. Do you really think that could help me? Absolutely, Clara affirmed, excited. We'll go together. I'll take you to a painting studio and help you unleash your creativity. Determined, Jade began her new routine. Mornings were filled with runs in the park, where the fresh breeze caressed her face, bringing a sense of freedom. In the afternoon, she dedicated herself to painting, immersing herself in colors and shapes, expressing her pain and rediscovering her identity. On one of those afternoons, Jade was at a local art exhibition, admiring the works around her. The environment was full of people talking and laughing, but she felt a little out of place, a stranger among those laughs. Then, a familiar voice made her turn around. It was Owen, the college friend who had danced with her at the party. "Hi, Jade. It's so good to see you here," Owen said with a warm smile. "Hi, Owen. I'm just admiring the paintings," Jade replied, a little shy. "Me too. Art has this ability to touch us in ways we don't always understand. Are you doing something in that regard?" he asked, interested. Jade hesitated but decided to open up. "Actually, I've started painting. It's a way of expressing myself, of releasing everything I'm feeling." "That's wonderful. Painting can be incredible therapy. Have you thought about exhibiting your works?" The idea made her hesitate. "No, I don't know if I'm ready for that. What if no one likes it?" Owen leaned in a little closer, his gaze encouraging. "Be who you are. Art is subjective. The important thing is that you're expressing yourself, and who knows, it might be the start of something amazing." Jade felt warmth in her heart. He seemed to really believe in her potential. "Thank you, Owen. Your words mean a lot to me." The conversation flowed naturally, and Jade realized that even in the midst of pain, a new friendship was emerging. With each laugh and exchange of ideas, she felt that the wounds of the past were beginning to heal, though the shadow of Connor still lingered in her mind. As she looked at one of her paintings hanging on the wall, an abstract representation of a rising sun, Jade realized that she was finally beginning to find herself again. The rebirth she so desired was within her reach, along with the hope of a brighter future. Jade and Owen began to meet frequently. There was something special in the way he listened to her, as if every word she said carried a weight that only he could understand. On a sunny afternoon, the two were sitting in an outdoor cafe, surrounded by the aroma of fresh coffee and the soft sound of the city around them. "Have you ever felt like you were stuck in an endless cycle?" Jade asked, looking at her coffee cup, as if the answers were there, at the bottom of the drink. Owen watched her closely, his deep eyes reflecting understanding. "Yes, I've been through that. When my ex-boyfriend cheated on me, I didn't know how to move on. The pain was so intense, it felt like I would never recover." He paused, as if the memories still affected him. But slowly, I realized that I needed to focus on myself, on my own happiness. "And you, Jade? What makes you happy now?" She smiled, a genuine smile that lit up her face. "Painting. It's like I can put all my pain and joy onto the canvas. Every brushstroke is a step towards healing." Owen leaned forward, interested. "Have you thought about doing an exhibition? Showing your art to the world?" Jade hesitated. The idea of exposing herself in that way made her nervous, but there was something encouraging in the way Owen spoke. "I don't know if I'm ready for that. What if people don't like what I do? What if they do?" Owen smiled, and the warmth of his confidence enveloped Jade like a comforting hug. "You can't let fear stop you. Your art deserves to be seen." Deep down, Jade knew Owen was right. The time they spent together was helping her rebuild herself, and in his eyes, she saw the possibility of a brighter future. Meanwhile, Connor wasn't willing to let Jade go so easily. After several failed attempts to get closer, he decided he needed to act. A text message appeared on her phone screen. "Can we talk? I miss you." Jade looked at the message with disdain, her heart no longer beating for Raphael. He had been a part of her past, a past she was determined to leave behind. "Are you thinking what I think you're thinking?" Owen interrupted her thoughts, pulling her back to reality. "It's about Raphael," Jade confessed, her tone a bit hesitant. "He's trying to come back, but I don't know if I want to hear him out." "You don't need to. You've been through a lot. He made his choice, and now it's your turn to take control of your life." Owen spoke firmly, and Jade felt a mix of gratitude and nervousness. His support was an anchor amid the storm that still surrounded her. That night, as she prepared to go out with Owen again, Jade looked at herself in the mirror. The woman she saw reflected was different from the one who existed weeks ago. There was a new strength in her gaze and a glow in her skin. She wore a blouse she had painted, a work that symbolized rebirth and freedom. At the bar, the music pulsed, and the environment was full of laughter and conversations. Jade and Owen settled at a table near the stage where a local band was starting to play. They talked, laughed, and got lost in each other's company. Every word exchanged seemed to create a new bond, a new connection. After a few drinks and laughs, Owen looked at Jade in a way that made her heart race. "You know, I really like being here with you. You're amazing." Jade felt warmth rise to her cheeks. "I like being with you too. You make me feel alive again." And in an instant, their faces drew closer. The kiss that followed was soft but intense, a mix of hope and confusion. Jade felt lost in a whirlwind of emotions. It was new, it was exciting, and at the same time, the memory of Connor still haunted her. But as Owen's lips met hers, she realized she was ready to take that step. When they pulled away, Jade looked into Owen's eyes, her heart racing. It was a strange but desired feeling. "What does this mean for us?" she asked, insecurity creeping into her voice. "It means we're ready to move forward, together. No one needs to know now, but I want you to know that I'm here for you." Jade smiled, her heart pounding. She knew that, regardless of what the future held, she had Owen by her side, and more importantly, she was rediscovering herself. The world was still a complicated place, but at that moment, everything felt lighter. Jade was finally beginning to feel good about herself. The relationship with Owen had brought a new light into her life, a sense of freedom she hadn't experienced in a long time. But like a persistent shadow, Connor wasn't willing to let Jade move on without one last confrontation. Rumors began to circulate around town, malicious gossip that Connor subtly planted, trying to destabilize Jade's new life. She heard whispers on the streets, comments in cafes, and even in her old art gallery. One afternoon, while Jade and Clara were having coffee in a charming bistro, Clara noticed Jade's worried expression. "What's wrong, friend? You seem so distant," Clara asked, placing her cup delicately on the table. "It's Raphael," Jade replied, looking at the bottom of the cup. "He's spreading rumors about me. He says I'm not capable of moving on, that I'm just trying to recover from the pain of being replaced by someone else. He wants everyone to think I'm the villain in our story." Clara frowned, indignant. "That's ridiculous. You can't let him do this to you. You've become an amazing woman, Jade. Look how much you've already overcome." "I know, but it's so hard not to feel threatened. What might people think? What if they start believing him?" Jade said, her voice trembling. "I don't want him to win this battle. You can't let him have that power over you. You need to face him. If he's spreading lies, then you should expose the truth. You have to show everyone who he really is and what he did to you," Clara insisted, her determination evident in every word. Jade's heart raced at Clara's words. She hesitated, but the idea of confronting Connor also seemed liberating. It was time to stop running and start fighting. "You're right. I can't let him get me down. I need to defend myself," Jade affirmed, her voice now firm. That night, as the city lit up with the lights of sunset, Jade decided it was time to act. She sought out Owen and told him what was happening. "I need to do something about Raphael. He can't keep spreading these lies. I want to confront him," she said, full of determination. Owen looked into her eyes, a supportive gleam in his gaze. "I'm with you, Jade. Together we can face this. You're not alone." With Owen's support, Jade felt a wave of courage. The next day, she organized a small gathering in a public space she used to frequent. She invited friends and acquaintances, announcing that she wanted to share something important. The news that Jade was about to make a revelation spread quickly, attracting a curious crowd. When Jade stepped onto the small makeshift stage, her heart was pounding, but she was determined. As she faced the crowd, she saw Clara and Owen waving at her, offering encouragement. With a deep breath, she began to speak. "Thank you for being here. Today, I want to talk about a difficult part of my life. A part that some of you know, but I've never had the courage to expose until now." She explained how Connor had behaved, how his rumors were trying to destabilize her, and how he had betrayed her. "It's not easy for me to be here, but I can no longer allow him to control my life or the way others see me. I'm more than just his ex-girlfriend. I'm an artist, I'm strong, and I'm not afraid to show who I am. The crowd was silent, attentive. When she finished speaking, a wave of applause erupted. Jade felt a mix of relief and empowerment. She had finally exposed the truth, and the response was warm and supportive. But as the crowd applauded, Jade spotted Connor approaching, his face twisted with anger. He wasn't ready to accept that his plan had failed. "You think you can just expose me like this? You're nothing without me," he shouted, his voice cutting through the air like a blade. However, Jade's courage only grew. Looking directly into his eyes, she responded, "And you're nothing but a traitor. I'm no longer your victim. You can try to bring me down, but I've already risen. And this time, I'm standing with people who truly care about me." The crowd began to murmur, and Jade felt that she was in control. Raphael, realizing that he had lost the support he once had, withdrew, furious and humiliated. Jade's victory was more than just a confrontation. It was a declaration of independence and strength. And although the road ahead was still uncertain, she was ready to face it. Jade was sitting in a cozy cafe, the walls adorned with vibrant paintings she had painted herself. The soft sunlight filtered through the windows, creating a warm atmosphere that contrasted with the cold that still insisted on lingering outside. Owen arrived, bringing with him an air of enthusiasm that was contagious to everyone around. He sat at the table, his gaze bright. "Are you ready for the exhibition?" Owen asked, smiling encouragingly. "Ready, maybe. Nervous? Definitely," Jade replied, with biting her lower lip. "What if he shows up? What if he tries to destabilize me again?" "Jade, you're stronger than you think. We're in this together. If he tries anything, I'll be by your side," Owen assured her, holding her hand across the table. The touch was comforting, and Jade felt the courage growing within her. The day of the exhibition arrived, and the gallery was full. Friends, family, and acquaintances of Jade applauded her works. She watched people admire her paintings, feeling the validation she had long sought. Every brushstroke on those canvases represented her journey of rediscovery and overcoming. It was a new beginning, and Jade was determined to shine. But the tranquility of the event was interrupted when Connor arrived, with an air of disdain that everyone noticed. He walked through the room, his malicious gaze fixed on Jade, who now felt vulnerable. Owen noticed the tension in the air and positioned himself beside her, like a shield. "You shouldn't be here, Raphael," Jade said, her voice firm but with a subtle tremor. "This is my night." "Oh, but I couldn't miss the chance to see your big farce. Look, everyone, the artist who claims to have moved on but is still feeding off my shadow," Connor shot back, provoking murmurs among the guests. Jade took a deep breath, his words stinging, but she wouldn't let him defeat her again. "You can't define me. I'm more than your past. I'm an artist, and this exhibition is about my journey, not you." Owen, sensing the opportunity, decided to intervene. "Raphael, you no longer have power here. Jade is admired for who she is now, not for who you tried to make her be." The guests began to stir, some whispering among themselves as the tension grew. Jade's courage intensified, and in an impulse, she turned to the audience. "I want you all to know the truth. Connor cheated on me, and he tried to destroy me, but I regained my worth. This exhibition is a celebration of the strength I found within myself." Jade's words echoed through the space, and the murmur turned into applause. Every clap was a reminder that she wasn't alone. Raphael, now visibly irritated, tried to defend himself. "She's just trying to play the victim. What she doesn't tell you is that she was always behind me, waiting for a chance to shine." "That's a lie," Jade shouted, her heart racing. "I don't need you to shine. My light is mine, and I conquered it on my own." It was at that moment that the gallery turned against Raphael. The outrage spread among the guests, who began to question his words and actions. The disdain that had once been directed at Jade now fell on him. "Get out of here," someone shouted. Raphael, realizing that he was losing control of the situation, tried to leave, but the humiliation was evident. He was surrounded by people who once admired his image, now revealed as a mask of selfishness and betrayal. Jade felt light as she watched her ex's downfall. It wasn't just a personal victory, but a moment of liberation. When Connor finally walked away, his figure becoming small in the crowd, Jade looked at Owen. He wrapped her in a tight hug, and she felt the security of being with someone who truly supported her. "You were amazing. Owen whispered in her ear. "Thank you for being here," Jade replied, her heart overflowing with gratitude. She looked around, realizing that the night was still young and full of promises. "I feel like I'm finally free." The future seemed bright, full of possibilities and new beginnings. The exhibition was not just about art, it was about life, about the strength to rise again and rediscover oneself. Jade smiled, knowing she was ready for whatever came next, with Owen by her side. After exploring the pain and surprise of betrayal, it's crucial to reflect on what this experience can teach. Have you ever faced a moment where you had to confront someone's betrayal or disloyalty? What did you learn from it? Every challenge offers a valuable lesson about trust and resilience. From these experiences, you can strengthen yourself and be better prepared for the future. Share your reflections and what you've learned from similar situations in the comments. And if you liked the video and want to continue learning more about how to face and overcome emotional challenges, take advantage and click on the video that's appearing on your screen now. This is, in my opinion, one of the best stories I've ever told. And if you liked what you heard now, you'll definitely love this other story too. So, subscribe to the channel, click on the video on your screen now, and I'll see you in a few seconds.